May. May was certainly a month. I started off this month very strongly. I read a bunch of really good books, and then towards the middle of the month, things just got a little bit chaotic for me. So I kind of stopped reading halfway through May, and I only read 5 books this month, which is not what I wanted. I was really optimistic in the beginning of the month. Unfortunately, things just got very stressful for me, and I let myself play my silly little video games during my downtime amongst the chaos, and it was fun, okay? But because of that, like I said, didn't really read much in the last half of May. However, the books I did read were pretty good, so let's talk about them. The first 3 books I read, I did a whole reading vlog on. If you want to check that out, it's reading new releases. I really like how that turned out, so if you want to watch it, it's there. But the first book that I read this last month, Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. It takes place in the same world as Part of Your World, which I did read last year and I really liked, so I was excited to pick this up. It wasn't really on my radar, but I saw a bunch of people talking about it, so I was like, oh, I want to read that. So I picked it up and I really enjoyed it. This follows 2 doctors, Brianna and Jacob. Brianna has this like very bad first impression of him, and he's like just this very anxious guy, but he ends up writing her a letter and she's like, oh, never mind. So they start kind of communicating through letters, and then they end up getting to know each other, and then there's like this fake dating situation and all this stuff, and it was really good. I really enjoyed it. My favorite part of this whole book was Jacob. He was everything. I loved him so much. I could just really relate to him. A lot of the things he described and talked about and his worries and his stresses were very relatable. We need more characters like this, okay? I am tired of reading about like these rich, just like mean, grumpy dudes. Give me more of this guy, huh? This is what I like. Brianna was okay. She was just kind of there. I don't know. I could like kind of take her or leave her as a character. And there were also some things at the end that I didn't really like. But despite that, I did really enjoy this. Like I said, because of Jacob. And I do really like her writing. It's good. And I give it 4.25 stars, which is a bit ridiculous, but it just feels right, you know? So that was book number 1. After that, I picked up Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune. It is kind of a second chance, kind of. It follows Fern and Will. They meet. Airplane, please. They meet one day, they're both 22. Will is an artist, which I love. And Fern just graduated college, about to move back home. She works in this little coffee shop in Toronto, I think. They meet, they have this wonderful day together, but then they both have to go their separate ways. Fern's moving back home to her mother's resort. It's like this lake resort type of thing that her mother owns, and Fern is expected to return and come work there now that she's done with school. So that's kind of like the gist of the past. And then the present, well, you know, Fern is back there, not necessarily because she wants to, but her mother did recently pass away, and so she's back at the resort kind of taking care of things, I guess. Will comes back, they reunite. He's like this business guy now, so he's working with her to kind of like help redo, I don't know. He's doing stuff with the resort, so it's kind of like a second chance. There was never really a first chance to begin with. Like, they have this very fun day hanging out, exploring the city together, but nothing happens, which I think is why a lot of people didn't like this book. Since it's been out for a little bit of time now, I've seen like other people's reviews and stuff, but going into this, you know, it was just me and this book. No knowledge between us. So I didn't really know anyone else's opinion going into it, and that was so nice. I loved going in not knowing what other people thought. I don't know, I feel like sometimes it can sway what you think or what you think you should think about a book. I love this. I love this book, and I know a lot of people didn't love this, but this is not their channel. This is my channel. So I'm gonna tell you that I loved it because it was really good. to me. I really like the characters. I love the past and present timeline, the setting, the lake summer setting. I love the length of this book. It was just 300 pages. I've talked about this so many times, but I just do not have the attention span to read 500-page romance books. So this was great. This was a very me book. Like, this was perfect for me and I loved it. I have no complaints. I gave it 5 stars, which was my first 5-star romance of this year. That was huge. I loved it. Again, I have a reading vlog of this book if you want to check it out. Okay. And then after that, I read, of course, Happy Place by Emily Henry. This was another banger. This is from the point of view of, oh, what's her name? I know her name. Harriet. Basically, she has this friend group that she's known since college, and every year they go to one of the friends' family cottage, and it's like this tradition, and they are all back for one last summer. However, her friends don't know her and her boyfriend, fiance, ex-fiance, her and Win is his name. She never told her friends that they broke up. He is there. They're like all this big group of mutual friends. So she didn't want to say anything because she didn't want to like ruin the friendship, ruin their last trip. So it's like kind of a little bit of fake dating. It's definitely second chance. All things that I love. But this book just talks a lot about like friendship and change and growing apart and moving on. And I just really liked that. And I kind of needed it. I gave this 5 stars. Truly, it was so good. It just really hit. And I really loved it. I even whipped out my tabs for this book. After that, I was in the mood for an audiobook to listen to while I was working on things. And so I picked up The Wrong Game by Candy Steiner. This was not the Candy Steiner book that I had planned on reading this month, but like I said, I was in the mood for an audiobook. And this is the only Candy Steiner audiobook that they had at my library. So I was like, you know what, sure. This is about Gemma, and she bought these like season tickets for football games for her husband, who then cheated on her and then died. So now she's looking for people to go to the games with. She's like, well, maybe I'll just take a different guy every week. But then she goes to this bar and she meets Zach, who is a bartender, and he like overhears this conversation between her and her best friend. And Gemma's like really nervous about dating and like going out again. And she's really nervous about doing this. And he's like, hey, I'll go with you just this one time. It'll be practice. It'll be fun. Like, no press. So they go, and then, you know. And it was cute. I liked it. I liked the characters all right. I think this would have been a better book to read in like the fall or winter. It wasn't really what I was in the mood for. I just kind of picked it up because it was what was available. But I still did enjoy it. It was a pretty good listen. It definitely not my favorite Candy Steiner book. I gave this 3 stars, but I kind of did myself dirty with this one because it wasn't really what I was in the mood for. At least I read it. One more book off the Candy Steiner backlist that I have completed, so that's good. And then I only read one more book after that, and that was When in Rome by Sarah Adams. I picked this up because it was cheap at Target, and I thought this book took place in Italy. It does not. That's what I get for not reading the back of the book, because it literally says Rome, Kentucky. So this takes place in a small town, and basically it follows Amelia. She's like this pop star, and she just wanted to like get away for a little while. So she drives to Rome. Something ends up happening to her car, and so she's kind of like stuck in the small town. And then that's where she meets Noah, and he kind of helps her. She ends up staying with him for a little while. He owns a pie shop, and like I said, it's a small town, and it's just like really cute. It was really cute. This really gave like Hannah Montana movie. Like, that's all I could think about while I was reading this, because it's like pop star, small town. She's like, oh my gosh, what do I do? Like, I don't know anything. And then she gets humbled by that small town, and she's like, wow, I really love it here. But yeah, it was really cute. Again, very short, which was great. Just a nice little small town romance. I don't know what else to say about this, but I gave it 4 stars. Those were the 5 books that I read in May. Hopefully June I can get in a couple more, because I really want to. Now that I'm done with school and things are like kind of settling down for a little bit. I didn't make a June TBR because I just want to spend the month, 1, embracing the mood reading, and 2, catch up on all the books from my past 2 months TBR because I really haven't read a lot of them. But yes, that was my May wrap up. You know what? I can't really complain because I got 2 5-star reads out of this month, which is huge. I'm gonna leave you here. As always, thanks so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye!